Hi guys, thanks for joining us today. Welcome to Beating the Press podcast. My name's Ty. We've got Kristian with us as well. As always, if football is your kind of thing, please do that magical thing for us: like and subscribe, share it with your friends and family, especially if they like football, because that is pretty much all we talk about. Tonight we will be looking at the European competitions. Obviously, it's come round to February, and we've had that 2-3 month break, and it's all guns to go again now. So what we're going to do is we're just going to have a look at both the Champions League and Europa League, and just give our views on how we think it'll go, who we think the real contenders are, and who we think is going to crash and burn effectively. So I'll start and kick off asking you, Chris, how are you? Because I haven't seen you for a while.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm like you. I'm absolutely buzzing. There's no internationals for such a long time now. Obviously, Champions League's back, and I don't know about you, but Champions League kind of feels like my competition. It's we've had the FA Cup, which was enjoyable. Premier League, is it already over? We don't know. It's touch and go. One loss for Liverpool, and that's it. We're done. But Champions League, it's always off the grabs. You never know who's gonna to take the mantle. Every year, Man City are always looking particularly strong this year, and it's no different this year. So I'm just glad to have the Champions League back. What about yourself? Are you?
I'm exactly the same. I always think Champions League, the better teams are normally going to qualify. No shit, Sherlock, and then you get to February and it's like knockout, and that's when it really starts for me. It's when but I'm with no away goals as well, so obviously got that. So it's slightly different, but I just think Champions League nights at Anfield, Liverpool, like it feels like our competition. Do you know what I mean? It's something that we are associated with. And I always find it funny that Man City, how many every years they're favourites every single year for the Champions League, and they haven't won it. Do you know what I mean? Every year's the same. They're favourite. It's like it's a tough competition, especially when it gets a knockout, and pretty much anyone can beat anyone. So it'd be interesting to see how they do. But there are some unbelievably good ties as well. Obviously we're playing Inter Milan, and this is being recorded on the PSG Real Madrid night. So again, we're not going to know what the result is. So when you listen to this, I'd imagine it already have happened. So that's a really proper top game. And PSG went out and bought Messi for specifically this competition. They went all out to keep Mbappe for another season for this competition. So it'd be interesting to see how they do. I mean, I expect them to beat Real Madrid, although there seems to be a lot more cohesion and fluidity with the way Real Madrid are playing now. Ancelotti seems to get seems to have got them back playing how they have them. But again, the Spanish league it's been the poorest that it has been for a few years. So it'd be interesting to see how they compare against PSG. It's one I'd expect PSG to go through over two legs, but nothing sort of certain. And then obviously we've got Liverpool and Inter as well. That's going to be a tough one, but I think Barella not playing is a big blow for Inter, and I'm hoping that hopefully work in our favour. They're the two standout ties for me anyway.
Yeah, you said that. I just wanted to touch on the no away goals. I completely forgot about that this year. It's interesting because obviously when you've got a team like Liverpool who have such a strong home advantage. Do you think that favours a team like Liverpool? Who do you think favours? Who do you think gives a big disadvantage to?
I think the no away goal rule should have been in ages ago, because if you remember, I'm talking Rafa Benitez, Mourinho, when they were like in their pomp. They used to play their away games, and what they do is they just shut up shop. It was like a 0-0 was a good result. Do you know what I mean? Even at home, a 0-0 was a good result because you knew the away goal in the second leg's worth double effectively. So this basically throws that all out the window. It should encourage more attacking football, more trying to win the game, you know what I mean, and then go from there. The second leg is always the deciding one. So I think the game at Anfield, as long as it's a second leg, away goals and all away goals, it's effectively the final, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's the one that decides. Yeah. So I think that's when it matters, and the crowd will obviously play a huge part in that. But I'm glad it's there. I just, it gets away from that saying, 0-0 at home is a good result. Like, you know what I mean? Or we haven't conceded, we just need a goal the way they need to. So it gets rid of all that, and it's just, you know what I mean, as you are. So it's the first time listening up, and I'll be interested to see how the second, and it'd be interesting to see how the first legs play out, you know what I mean? And obviously the second legs in the back of it, because it's, it's not happened before.
I was I was kind of against it originally because I did want that moment, like I get the point where teams are less likely to come out, but I kind of going to miss that moment where, like the Tottenham Ajax moment, for example, it wasn't a case of, Tottenham would equalise and then it'd go into extra time. It was Ajax were going through until Tottenham scored, who then would go through. It wasn't a case of extra time penalties or anything like that. So it's kind of that, that cliffhanger edge to a game. I love that. But yeah, you are right. It is a more fair way of doing things. And I do think it will benefit clubs like Liverpool, etc. Maybe not the the counter-attacking teams. But moving on to the Liverpool game, obviously we've got Inter Milan as the first leg away, which is, I believe, is it tomorrow? Yeah. Is it tomorrow? Yeah. I'm pretty confident in it. It seems like we rested a good few players. We had a very strong bench against Burnley. How do you think we're going to get on against Inter?
I mean, again, Inter are probably the best team in Italy. I mean, there's them, there's Milan, Napoli. They're probably the three best at the moment. I mean, I think Juve, I mean, they had a slow start, but I'd say Inter are probably the best team just about. They've got a good way of playing. And I think Barella, I mean, I mentioned it at the start. I think Nico Barella, him not playing is a big blow for them. And again, the strikers, I mean, I don't think it's going to be tough for us. But I expect us to go through. I mean, the fact we managed to get Diaz in as well. I think he's now registered, isn't he? He can play for us in Champions League. So I think that will obviously give us that extra attacking impetus. Because we've had, I mean, as good as Origi is, I don't really want to get to a semi-final and we're relying on Origi and Shaqiri to get us up through. But it's slightly better in it than having Diaz and Jota, from whichever way he goes.
Yeah, exactly. Tonight, like you said, we've got PSG. I'm going PSG all the way. In particular in tonight's fixture because of the home advantage. Real are obviously no mugs. You mentioned that you expect PSG to go through overall. Is there anything that leads you to believe that they're actually going to go all the way this year?
Because I mean, it's you can't play without the ball with 9 men, 8 even. I'd say that. I mean, Neymar and Messi ain't going to work back. They're off. Without out of possession, they're shit. Do you know what I mean? And that's putting it really, really nicely. Mbappe puts a bit in, but again, even though he's not that brilliant at it with that, out of possession. And unfortunately, in football, especially in Champions League, you've got brilliant teams like Man City and Liverpool where every single player out of possession is a huge positive for the team. There's no weak links. You can't say, you know what I mean? So we'll switch it at one side and we'll isolate the winger who's not going to get out there quick enough. So everything's in place. It's almost like there's too much for the other teams, the rest of the players to do that. But I mean, the games against PSG and Man City, it was Neymar and Messi hands on hips. You know what I mean? And it's just, I think that's they'll get far. They've got unbelievable quality. They've got the greatest players to ever play the game, but I think that the quality of the Champions League is that high that that's what's going to stop them winning it.
Yeah, with Neymar coming back, it's almost like a blessing and a curse because, you do have that element of brilliance that he does bring, but alternatively, you could bring in, a more solid player that's going to be doing a lot more of the grunt work, if you will. So, yeah, I think they're going to be short again this year.
I've got a question for you. Obviously, English. I think that's in the Premier League's the top league at the moment in Europe. I think we can say that with a bit of conviction. Who do you think will go the furthest out of all 4?
I was about to say, if I take my bias hat off, if I use my normal bias decision, it would be Liverpool. But even if I take my bias hat off, I still think Liverpool will go the furthest. Just because we've always had that pedigree within our team. We've always had that mentality. We've got our full strength squad. We've added to that squad. We've got the experience. I just, it's just all the cliches, Anfield nights and all that. I can't see it past us. It'd be wrong for me to look past us, and I think it'd be wrong for too many other fans to disagree. Obviously, Man City, they're more than capable, but It just depends what type of Man City shows up. Does Pep want to bottle it and overthink it? Chelsea, I would like to bet against them, but I bet against them in every single game, pretty much leading up to the final and the final itself, and they went and proved me wrong. Man United, moving on, no chance. So I think I saw in the paper today something like they've got less than 1% chance of winning. I don't know how that came about, that stat came about, but I feel like it's fairly accurate. So I think the English clubs, very, very strong opportunity to win it, but Liverpool, it's not really an answer. It's Liverpool, Man City. I think they're the two favourites overall.
No, that's fair. I mean, obviously I throw Bayern in there as well, and I think we can all agree they're the three best. I mean, I've been banging on about it for podcast. I said Liverpool and Man City are the two best teams in the league. And I'll probably extend that to the world as well. Throw Bayern in there as well. But I mean, it's just been proven. I mean, I know Liverpool are a few points behind Man City, and before sort of last season when it was a normal season, then obviously the 2 seasons before there was no in it. I mean, I know they won it a title each, and again, they're the two teams that I think they push each other further. I think, and I think if neither team was about, if neither manager was about, I don't think the standards would be as high. And I do think it's going to be. I think it's going to be tough for Man City again, because there is a thing to win the Champions League. You mentioned pedigree. Now, little things when you get to the elite level, people say, "Oh, pedigree is absolute bullshit." When you get to the elite level, it's so small margins, small gains. So psychologically thinking, we've not won this before. So Man City, for me, they'll never. Now this is. I mean, I don't know how this could come across, but they're not going to be a massive club until they win the Champions League. PSG are exactly the same. They're not going to be they're not going to be in Milan. They're not going to be Real Madrid. These are teams with history, the pedigree. They are what I'd call. They're sitting at the top table of European football because they've earned that over the years. Even now, do you know what I mean? They're there. They're brilliant. They're top. Like Real Madrid, they're not great, but they still. You think they could win it? Real Madrid could win it because of that pedigree, that belief within that team. Man City, you look at it, the unbelievable team. It's just. You get to it. The manager sometimes, I think we mentioned it, manager overthinks it. He'll change his formation, he'll tweak something, and he's like, something will just not be right. So I just think for them and PSG, I put them both in the same box. PSG have got too far and they've lost it as well. It's both of them. They're both, I mean, they're funded by countries, aren't they? You know what I mean? By states. Oil rich states is ridiculous, so no one can really compete with them when it comes to financial muscle. I just think both of them have got that issue, so it will be. And I'd even go as far as if PSG don't win it, Pochettino's probably gone, and you'd imagine his next job will be Man United. So I think there's a few things that will happen, along this way as well. I think part of it for Guardiola is it's. I think for him, if he wins the Champions League, Man City, he might even call it after that. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I just think it's something that he wants. He got asked that question, and it was a really sort of needle response, like with a load of needle in it as well. He was like, well, we look at each game as it comes, and he knows full well that's what is going to be judged on the Champions League.
That question every year, Guardiola. We get to this stage, and it is that constant thing. If he wins it, is he going to go? If they don't, is he going to go? Like you don't really know. Like if he's had enough. But going back to your point, the pedigree is massive. Just because like anybody else, the moment that doubt creeps in your mind in any way, shape, or form in football, like you say, if you've never practiced your penalties or anything like that, or you've never won it, why haven't we won it before? Why hasn't this coach got us over the line? Whereas you can dig deep with the likes of Virgin, the players just knowing that they've been there and done that. So it's the same with Chelsea. It's the same reason why I haven't wrote off Chelsea. I think any normal time I'd probably have wrote Chelsea off, in particular the form over the last, let's say, 6 weeks or so. I'd have normally wrote them off, but just because of last year and what Tuchel can do over a one-off game or a two-legged game, you just never know. But moving on to tonight's game, Man City versus Sporting. It seems like Man City is like an ongoing joke now. They'll get your local teams under 10s in the cups until they get to the final. But do you see any chance of an upset tonight v Sporting?
No. I mean, whilst you're listening, guys, it's probably results already happened. Sporting have probably 4-0. But no,
I just want to put you on the spot. Yeah.
yeah,
Just
no,
when you just say that Man City will walk in and then Sporting turn them over.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not rocket science, is it? I'd imagine Man City to win, comfortably enough-ish. But again, do you know what I mean? Sporting out and back, they're not mugs, but again, Man City have got probably one of the easiest draws they could probably get, and they've got a knack of it, haven't they? They really have, got a knack of picking up those two easy draws, going through to the knockout. No, as soon as they come up against anyone decent, it's like, it's a tough game for them. Well, we'll see. I've got so just before we sort of move on from the Champions League and have a quick look at Europa League. Who's your fancy tip for the Champions League?
It's I'd like to say a tip, but my answers are pretty much obvious. I'm looking through the teams, and I would actually, there is one that's cropping out that's might go under the radar, but I really do like the look of them at the moment. It's Ajax. I can't really see any of the others. Atletico, as good as they are, that they're not, I think, of the level what capable of going that far. I'm going to go with Ajax as my outside tip, but otherwise, I don't think they'll go to do it, but I think they're the team that will get.
I think for me, I'm at you. I'm gonna avoid the top three. I think Juve have got a bit of form now as well with Allegri. I think they're a decent prize. They're quiet. They're one of the classes the outsiders, but when it gets to knockout, you talk about teams with pedigree. They've got pedigree. They've won it before. They've got, you know what I mean. So it gets tough now. So they'd be my one on the outside. Looking in, again, they've picked up quite well in Serie A as well. They've got Vlahovic, so we've got quality players. You know what I mean. So it'd be interesting to see where they finish and how they sort of progress now. They're moving to the knockout stages.
Before we move on to Europa League, obviously there's one more English team left in it that we haven't really discussed, and we kind of brushed past them. I think it's only right that we kind of just briefly cover their chances. Obviously, Man United have got nothing to focus on other than, in reality, Champions League and the race for the top four. I think they're probably best off running for the race for the top four, personally, and putting their all eggs in that basket. But what do you think it's going to take for Manchester United to get to the final, potentially win it?
Every other team to get COVID, and UEFA saying you've got to play with the under-10s.
I think.
I mean, come on, let's not be.
I'm trying to make a point. I'm trying to give a reason for. Give me a reason for.
They can win it. Anyone can win it, as dumb as it sounds. It's two-legged. It's knockout football. They could sort of turn up and decide to play, and McTominay and Fred become unbelievable midfielders, and Ronaldo learns how to run again. Sancho rediscovers some of his dormant form. Fernandes learns how to not throw his arms around. Maguire becomes like a £10 million defender. Forget about an £80 million defender. He just learns how to stand up and be a defender. Wan-Bissaka's obviously gone forever, and you got Dalot. Then they've got that many players out of form, or I'd say out of form, stroke very average players anyway. So, part of the issue with Man United for me is there's a bit of a hangover from, so I'd say 2 months before Solskjaer left as well. It's just sort of continued now. And you've got Ralph Rangnick in now, and there's stories being leaked about players saying his training sessions are very sort of old school, old fashioned, they're boring. And Gary Neville made an interesting point on Sky Sports when he said, I think it was on his own podcast, and he said, these players leaking stuff to the press, we know who they are. Do you know what I mean? So they're leaking to us, so we know exactly who they are. So it's not smart, it's not clever, it's disgusting. So you concentrate on your own performance. So it's obviously there's quite a few bad apples at that club, and it's an issue. There's similarities between Man United and Everton as well, and to an extent say Spurs, where the players they need a huge overhaul for each of those clubs to get to where they want to be. And it's interesting him saying that our absolute maximum top level we can reach is top four. It's mad, isn't it, thinking Man United manager openly saying the maximum we can reach is top four. And the top four is not great. You've got Spurs, Arsenal, and Wolves who can't win a game between them. Do you know what I mean? And Man United are drawing them left, right, and centre. If they put a decent run together, they'd absolutely walk it. It's not a tough top four to get to. I mean, even Chelsea are dropping points. So, I mean, the top two are a million miles away. But yeah, I just think that's just where the club is. I mean, don't get me wrong, they could win it with it being knockout football. You know, madder things have happened. I mean, Liverpool won it with Jimmy Traore and Igor Biscan in the team. So let's not think we're too, you know what I mean? Man United could win it, but again,
so that's the bit of hope United can have. You know, obviously they've got a better team than what Liverpool had back then, but you know, the quality of the opposition, well, apart from that AC Milan side in the final, which was ridiculous, is I'd say a little stronger these days overall. But in a word, will Man United get past Atletico? Maybe.
It's a word.
That's your word. Yeah, I like, because obviously we were talking about you know, the advantage, the away goals and things like that. I always feel like Man United would do well with the away goals. You know, if that system was still around, I think they would be better off if that system was still around. But with it not here, I just think I think it's going to be too much.
I think this Atletico, if we're talking about Atletico team of 5 years ago, I'd say no chance. This Atletico team is not as good as that team as it was before. So that's the reason. I'd expect Atletico to go through. But again, I mean, neither team's going to win it. Do you know what I mean? So I don't think it really makes a difference. So we'll move on to the Europa League nice and swiftly. We're not going to cover the Conference League because, with all due respect, it's pretty shit and no one cares about it. So Europa League, the reason why we're covering Europa League, because there are some unbelievably top teams in it. Like, you know, we're talking elite of the elite here, like Barcelona, Dortmund, Napoli, Atlanta, Sevilla. There's just like, you know, top teams left, right, centre. I'm almost going to say, you know, who's going to win it, but then we've got Sevilla in it, and if Sevilla in a Europa League, they just win it, don't they? So that's
exactly, yeah.
It's kind of like point. But yeah, I mean, the first thing I'd say to you is, I mean, have you noticed much of a change in Barcelona? Do you think they can win it? I mean, we'll touch on the favourites, which obviously Barcelona are. Do you think they've got a chance of winning it?
It's the same thing with Barcelona. I've been watching them recently, and it was highlighted in the game against Espanyol. Number of different things. The discipline, it just doesn't seem to want to go away from them. Defensively, shocking. Still shocking. Not really improved much there. But they do seem like they're much improved. I do like the way that Xavi's going with the team. I questioned the likes of Traore coming in. I was wondering how he was going to fit into that system. You know, we all know how brilliant he is, how much of a 100-meter runner he is, how much of a American footballer, I want to say. But he's just come in. He's just straight away. He's just fit in brilliantly. I think has he got a goal? No, he's got a couple of assists. Aubameyang, not really done a great deal since he came in, but I think he grab a goal, but he's not played well. He's not played well the game that I saw. But yeah, I do like the way that Barca are turning it around, but I just think it's too early for them. I don't think that they're going to win. I don't think that they've got enough to win the Europa League. What about yourself?
It's a tough one. I mean, the tie of the round, and this should really be a Champions League game, is Barcelona against Napoli. And I think the winner of them is going to go instantly favourite. You know what I mean? I just think whoever wins that, of course, bang straight to the top. There's obviously Dortmund in there as well. Again, Napoli are one of the better teams in Italy. I mean, top 3 or 4, but there's not a lot between them. They drew with Inter, I think it was on the weekend. They were 1-up and they drew 1-all. So again, they're sort of challenging for the title there. I do think when it comes to some of the Italian teams, especially Europa League, when it gets to the later stages, they always seem to give the league priority. I hope that changes this year, and they really sort of make an effort for it. There's I think one of the other fixtures is Dortmund Rangers, and that'll be that's like a an old school Champions League game, I'd say. I'm just sort of going through the fixtures here. Sevilla have got Dynamo Zagreb. They'll absolutely walk that. Atlanta should beat Olympiacos.
think with Barca, you know, even before Xavi came along, you know, he's going to try and instill that you know, that mentality that they used to have. But you know, for the last few years, it's the same situation. As soon as they come across a team that's willing to put in the work, you know, old school English fan and all that. But as soon as they come up against someone tough, someone who's ready to be in the face, someone who's ready to go toe to toe with them, I just don't fancy him, and I actually think Napoli. I think Napoli will go through over the two legs. I like Napoli for that game. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's Barcelona. I think we all know they've got brilliant players. It's like when it clicks, they'll just start winning. Do you know what I mean? That's where they are. Obviously, Xavi's instilling his ideas and the way he wants to play. All the players are good. It's just waiting for that moment for it to click. It always happens, you know what I mean? You need that moment for it to go like, yeah, everything. This is how it works. And I think when that happens, that's when they'll go on. But at the moment, they're still in that sort of transition phase, aren't they, to sort of see what is actually going to happen. But I agree. I think Napoli probably would edge that, you know, over two legs. But again, I think they're both favourites. Like I said, whoever wins that game, I think goes favourites. I'm just going to mention English team, West Ham in there. What do you think chances for them?
Massively optimistic with West Ham. Like, I do think that they need to decide what they're going to do. Like, you know, are they really going to push to try and win the Europa League? Because they will at some stage have to choose one or the other. You know, it might just be for a one-off game, but obviously the games are coming thick and fast now. So that, you know, they're going to have to prioritize one or the, like, you know, for certain players for certain games, and I don't think they've got the squad to level that out. So, but I think if they play their strongest team, I fancy them. I do fancy them going far. Maybe not winning it, but I see no reason why they couldn't get later in the stages, quarterfinals, semi-finals, no problem.
Yeah. I agree, and I think they're going to come to a point now where there's a realization they're not really going to finish in the top four. They just seem to have. I mean, they had a chance, but again, like everyone else, they just no consistency at all. So that idea of worried about a Sunday, Sunday program, it's just a case like we're just going to focus on Europa League. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, think about the league as well, but I think there comes a point where it's like we've got a real chance of winning this. Because Europa League winners go to the Champions League. So it's like, you know, do we go top four there? Do we go there? You know, you obviously want to try for both. The issue with West Ham is they didn't buy anyone in January. So they, like you said, if they get the first 11, if they can keep the first 11 fit and play both, they'll be absolutely fine. But the first 11 aren't going to be fit. And there's obviously been issues with the centre half, you know, going injured, and they had Cresswell out for a bit. I know he's back now. I mean, Souček and Rice have got to play, but they weren't there. Do you know what I mean? So I just think it's a bit. The issue with them is the injuries, and as they're getting more and more games now, and you know they're moving forward, I think it'll be tight. And then obviously still the FA Cup as well, thanks to a last minute, 90 minutes and last minute extra time as well. But like you, I think they're gonna. I think they'll, whoever they're faced, they will be tough, especially at home. And what they'd want is they want the second leg at home. That second leg is always a deciding. You know, obviously that's stating the obvious, but the second leg's when the results decided, and it's. You have your home crowd, and there's a certain atmosphere around that, and it's getting more of a feel like Upton Park. Obviously, it's will never be the same as Upton Park, because there's a running track around, you know, the Olympic Stadium, and there's a distance between the fans and there, but it's getting more. You know, you feel it you feel it.
Yeah, it's a feel good thing. Yeah.
Yeah, you feel it through the TV. You know what I mean? My mate's a West Ham fan. You know what I mean? And you get that feeling as well.
I've never ever actually thought about. You know, I would never in the past think about, oh, West Ham are on the TV, I'll watch it. But now when they come on, I think, you know, I do actually like enjoy watching them play. But I just wanted to ask you a question, and then I thought about it. Obviously, the winners of the Europa League go into the Champions League. Now, let's say that scenario doesn't happen. Let's say that, you know, you still retain the Europa League and you have to defend the Europa League. If, hypothetically, if you're a West Ham fan, do you think they would rather win the Europa League or finish top four and qualify for the Champions League?
Oh, I think win the Europa League. I think West Ham. I think for West Ham, they're just happy they're in Europe. I don't think they really care if it's the Champions League, Europa League, if that makes sense, because they're still filling out the stadium. You know what I mean? To get an actual trophy, a major European trophy, I mean, it's not to be sniffed at. We think Europa League. It's not an easy competition to win. You know what I mean? It's an unbelievably tough competition. Man United have failed that. Liverpool failed at it. Sevilla just seem to win it every time, but it's a tough competition. Some really brilliant teams haven't won it. So a bit of realization there. I think to win it, they'd absolutely take that. And I think I think West Ham are just happy to be in Europe. I mean, Leicester would have loved to still be in here, but they're out, aren't they? You know what I mean? So I just think it needs to the option definitely win the Europe, win the cup. That's what I say anyway.
Yeah. So looking amongst the rest of the team, obviously you mentioned Dortmund, Rangers. How do you think Rangers will fare? I've got a mate who's a Rangers fan. This seems like a step too far for them. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think over 2 legs, Dortmund will be too good, won't they? And I'd imagine, I think Haaland wants to. He's obviously going to leave at the end of the summer. I think it's a case of it'd be good for him. I think he wants to win it, and I think he's probably looking at it and thinking, "I've got a chance of winning this." I think realistically, you probably looked at the Champions League and thought, "I'm not, we're not quite good enough." Whereas Europa League, absolutely, they're up there with one of the favourites, aren't they? To win it. So yeah, I'd expect them to get through. It's not going to be tough, especially at Ibrox, but I'd expect them to go through.
Yeah, it's very unlikely that Haaland will get the opportunity to win this tournament again, unless he goes to United.
Yeah.
Yes, so he will want to go all guns blazing. Obviously, you've got Atlanta. They've always got quality players. They're still a team not to be sniffed at. Is there any teams like Atlanta that you think
for me? Looking at the if I was to have a bet, I'd have Atlanta. I think they have a way of playing, and he's the manager Gasperini. He's just unbelievable. He's fearless. He doesn't care who he plays with. You talk about sticking to your principles, the way you play. Everything's in the front foot. The patterns of play that he's got. I mean, you can just absolutely analyze his games for days. He's just brilliant. You know what I mean? And he's very sort of fluid. 3-4-3 contended with 3-5-2. They change formations within games. You know what I mean? They've changed 3 or 4 times within games. And against Man United over both games, they were the better team, but obviously they didn't get the results. I think it was a last-minute equaliser or a winner, wasn't it, from Ronaldo? But no, I think they're a Champions League team. They should be in there, and they are a top team. So I think Europa League's unlucky that they've got them. But for me, I would have them. They'd be my tip to win it. I'll ask you the question as well. Who's yours? Who's your tip then?
Yeah, Atalanta. I'm looking amongst the rest now, and again, it's not really a tip, but I think it's going to be one of the Italian teams. I really do. I think Napoli, I can see going far. I think Dortmund's always seem to stumble, similar to, I'd say, nowadays Barcelona, once it comes to a team that proper faces them up. The rest, I can't really. Sevilla were the other ones, but they're the obvious ones. They're always there and thereabouts. But for me, it's going to be an Italian team this year.
Yeah, Italian team versus Sevilla in the final. Sevilla win it, as always. Yeah.
Clip this.
Yeah. We'll come back to this. Who won it? So I'm going to Atlanta. You're going to Sevilla. Brilliant. Right, guys. As always, when we get to this stage of the podcast, we always say if you listen to us this far, you must like something what we talk about. Just a little thing. Just go down at the bottom. There's a little bell. Click that. Share it. Subscribe to the channel when you click that bell. Anyway, share it with your friends and family. And when we do get to this stage of the podcast, we'll always have a question of the day, and today is no different. So with today's question of the day, I'm going to pass over to my main man Chris, who's going to let you know what the question of the day is. Over to you, Chris. Take it away.
So, as always, stitch up City. So, the question, seeing as our Champions League's back, I think it's no surprise that the question is, who do you think is going to win the Champions League and Europa League? And if you even care, put the Conference League winner in there as well.
I don't even care about the Conference League. I didn't even do any research. I don't even know. Did Leicester qualify? Did Spurs get kicked out of it or something?
No, Spurs got actually knocked out. They got kicked out.
Because the coronavirus was small. It was COVID, I can't, but yeah. No, we're just going to concentrate on the 2 proper tournaments, not this Mickey Mouse Conference League, which National League teams can play in as well. So just the Champions League and the Europa League. Let us know down below, and we do respond to comments, okay? You can ask Alex, who got involved. He did win the fantasy football in December. And just as a really quick update for you fantasy football guys, our account was hacked. Apparently, I didn't know about this. I got a text from Alex. Alex said, "Have you looked at your account?" I said, "No, why is it? Look, I think you might have been hacked." We had like 2 points. Apparently, we made about 26 transfers, and some guy came and he took over. So yeah, so we just got absolutely fingered, and we
that's probably the reason why we aren't winning.
Yeah, we're completely, but just regardless of that, because we are honest, upstanding, worthy citizens of this great country, and we are co-hosts of the world famous podcast. We will stand by our rewards that we said we'll give you. So yes, so you've got your 20 quid, and Alex said if he wins it, I'll give him the extra 50 as well at the end of the season. So all you the people that don't really listen to us and decide to join the tournament, please win it so we don't have to pay Alex 70. If not, we're paying him the lot at the end of the season. Okay. Anything from you, Chris?
No, I've enjoyed that one. I'm looking forward to this round of games. Obviously, we'll probably revisit it a couple more times before the end when everything changes. Just hoping for a good win tomorrow night.
Yeah, same here. Obviously, when you guys listening to it, game might have already finished, but you know what I mean. Still, I'll be at least it's just the first leg. But yeah, any other sort of feedback you can give us around our podcast, that'd be great. Especially on tournament, it doesn't have to be about the Champions League, Europa League. It doesn't have to be about who's won. Obviously, that's the question of the day. But we do interact with everything, and we will respond to all your questions and comments. We'll wrap it up there. So yeah, until the next one, guys. Adios.
Good luck, guys.